Have you ever felt the crushing weight of your own ambition? Not the inspiring, energizing weight of a worthy goal, but the dead, suffocating weight of a duty you once imposed on yourself? A dream that once soared like an eagle is now a stone chained to your ankle, dragging you deeper into a sea of quiet desperation. The world screams at you from every corner. Never give up. Winners never quit, and quitters never win. It's the great unquestioned mantra of our culture. But what if it's a lie? What if the most courageous, most intelligent, and most liberating thing you could possibly do right now is to give up? This is not a message you will hear often. It is the heresy of quitting. We are taught to see giving up as the ultimate failure, a stain on our character. But the Stoics, the ancient masters of resilience and mental fortitude, were not interested in simplistic slogans. They were interested in truth, in rational action, and in living a life of virtue and freedom. They understood a profound secret that our modern hustle culture has forgotten. Not all dreams are created equal. Some dreams are noble pursuits that forge our character, and some are prisons we build for ourselves, brick by painful brick. Today, we are not going to talk about how to mindlessly persevere. We are going to conduct an autopsy. We will place your dream on the cold steel table of reason and ask the hard, uncomfortable questions. We will learn to distinguish between the noble struggle that builds us and the slavish devotion that destroys us. This is the Stoic art of strategic surrender, and it may be the key to reclaiming your life. And if you stay with me until the end, I'll share a true story of one of the greatest inventors of our time, illustrating perfectly the meaning of today's episode. Before we can talk about perseverance, we must first establish identity. Look at your dream. I mean, really look at it. Strip away the romanticism, the social media posts, the story you tell at parties. Now ask yourself a terrifying question. Is this dream still yours, or are you serving the ghost of a person you no longer are? We are not static beings. The person you were 5 years ago, who first conceived of this grand ambition, is gone. You had different knowledge, different experiences, a different view of the world. You have grown, you have suffered, you have learned. Yet many of us continue to toil in service of an outdated desire, a contract we signed with a past self without ever rereading the terms. The dream of becoming a lawyer at 20 might feel like a death sentence at 30. The startup idea that electrified you after college might now feel like a hollow echo against the backdrop of a life that has taken a different shape. The Stoic philosopher Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." One of the greatest wastes of life is to spend it pursuing a goal that no longer resonates with your core. This is not perseverance. It is puppetry. You are allowing a ghost to pull your strings. The first act of true courage is to interrogate your ambition. Why are you really doing this? Is it for the approval of your parents? Is it to prove a point to a childhood rival? Are you running towards a life of meaning? Or are you running away from a feeling of inadequacy? Be brutally honest. Answering this question is the first step toward freedom. If you discover the dream is not truly yours, letting it go is not quitting. It is an abdication of a false throne. It is the beginning of your actual life. And once you've confirmed this dream is truly yours, born from your present self, the next step in this autopsy is just as critical. We must look at its price tag. Every dream has one. Not in money, but in a far more valuable currency, your life force. Your time, your health, your relationships, your peace of mind. Our culture encourages us to ignore this price, to pay it blindly in the name of passion. The Stoic takes a different approach. They are the ultimate accountant of the soul. They demand to see the full ledger. Epictetus taught that before undertaking any action, we should consider the precedence and the consequence, what comes before and what comes after. So let's calculate the true cost. Forget the highlight reel. Think about the daily reality, the sleepless nights, the strained conversations with your partner who feels like a stranger, the friendships that have withered from neglect, the constant low-grade anxiety that hums beneath the surface of everything you do, the joy you've sacrificed for the grind. Add it all up, be unflinching. Now look at the prize, the supposed payoff at the end of the road. Is it worth the price you are paying right now? Not the price you will pay in the future, but the life you are spending today, the only one you are guaranteed to have. The Stoics understood that the future is not ours to command. The only thing we truly possess is the present moment. Are you burning your present to warm a future that may never arrive, or may arrive and feel empty? This is not a call to hedonism or laziness. It is a call to rational valuation. A wise person does not pay $1,000,000 for a loaf of bread, and a wise person does not sacrifice their sanity, their relationships, and their well-being for a goal that offers a disproportionately small return in genuine fulfillment. If the cost is too high, acknowledging it is not weakness. It is the highest form of wisdom. It is choosing to invest your finite life force where it will yield a life of actual tranquility and joy, not just the promise of one. If that accounting reveals the cost is too high, we are faced with a choice that our culture frames as failure. But what if we reframe it? Imagine a general on a battlefield. His army is exhausted, his supply lines are cut, and the enemy holds a superior position. A foolish general, drunk on the idea of never surrendering, would order a suicidal charge, sacrificing his entire army for the sake of his ego. A wise general, however, understands the dignity of a strategic retreat. He pulls his forces back, preserves their strength, and lives to fight another day on a more favorable field. Why do we not grant ourselves the same strategic wisdom in our own lives? The pursuit of a dream is a campaign. There will be battles you cannot win. There will be fronts you must abandon. To equate a strategic retreat with a total defeat is a catastrophic error in judgment. The Stoics were masters of this concept. Their ultimate goal was not external victory, but internal virtue, living with wisdom, courage, and justice. Sometimes the most courageous and wisest action is to retreat, to give up on a specific tactic in order to preserve the larger mission of living a good life. Perhaps your dream of building a massive corporation is destroying your health. The strategic retreat isn't to stop being an entrepreneur. It's to pivot to a smaller, more sustainable business model that aligns with your well-being. Perhaps your dream of becoming a world-famous musician has led to bitterness and poverty. The strategic retreat isn't to abandon music. It's to let go of the obsession with fame and find a way to make music that nourishes your soul, even if it's just for you and your friends. This is the crucial distinction. Are you quitting on the dream, or are you quitting on a version of the dream that is no longer serving you? Letting go of a failing strategy is not failure. It is adaptation. It is intelligence. It is preserving your most valuable asset, your will, your spirit, your sanity, so you can redeploy it towards a worthy objective. Victory is not achieving the original, flawed plan at all costs. Victory is living a rational, virtuous, and tranquil life. And sometimes the path to that life is paved with the dreams we are brave enough to abandon. You have done the accounting, you have admitted the price is too high, and yet you hesitate. A voice whispers, "But look how far you've come. Think of all the years, the money, the sacrifices you've already made. If you stop now, all of that will have been for nothing." This is the most insidious trap of all, the sunk cost fallacy of the soul. It is the logic of a man who has dug himself halfway to the wrong destination and decides he must keep digging because he hates to waste a hole. The Stoics were ruthless logicians. They would tell you that the past is an external, utterly outside of your control. The time and energy you have spent are gone. They are sunk. They cannot be recovered, whether you continue on your current path or not. To make a decision about your future based on unrecoverable costs from the past is the definition of irrationality. It is to be a slave to a corpse. The only question that a rational mind should ask is this: knowing what I know now and given the choice to start from scratch today, would I choose this path? If the answer is no, then every further step you take is not honoring your past investment. It is compounding the error. You are not just wasting your past, you are actively choosing to waste your future. Letting go is not an invalidation of your past efforts. Every struggle taught you something. Every failure gave you data. That knowledge is not wasted. It is the wisdom you now possess to make a better choice. The true waste is to ignore that hard-won wisdom. The true courage is to look at the 5 years you spent digging in the wrong place. Thank the hole for the lessons it taught you about digging, and then have the strength to walk away and start fresh in fertile ground. Another ghost that haunts the gates of giving up is the specter of future regret. What if I'm on the verge of a breakthrough? What if I quit one day before the miracle happens? This fear of the unknown, of a potential success that you might miss, can keep you shackled to a miserable present for years. It is the tyranny of the what if. The Stoics offer a powerful antidote to this poison, a radical focus on the present and an acceptance of our own fallibility. You cannot know the future. No amount of agonizing will reveal it to you. Your only duty is to make the most rational, virtuous, and well-informed decision you can make right now with the information you currently have. That is the entirety of your responsibility. Once you make that decision, whether to continue or to stop, you must do so without looking back. To live in constant fear of what might have been is to live a life of perpetual anxiety. The Stoic practice of amor fati, or loving one's fate, applies here not just to external events, but to the consequences of our own choices. You make the best choice you can, and you accept the outcome, whatever it may be, as the material you have to work with for the next chapter of your life. You must trade the fantasy of a guaranteed outcome for the reality of a well-reasoned choice. If you decide to quit based on a sound, rational assessment of your life, you have not failed. You have succeeded in the most important task of all, the task of living deliberately. If it turns out you were one day away from the miracle, so be it. You made the right choice with the data you had, and that is the only measure of success that a Stoic would recognize. Free yourself from the tyranny of a future you cannot control. Freeing yourself from the tyranny of what if allows you to see another lie our culture sells us, the dangerous myth of the single summit. We are taught that each of us has one great purpose, one defining dream, one mountain we are meant to conquer. According to this myth, if you abandon your mountain, you are lost in the wilderness forever. This is a childish and profoundly limiting view of a human life. A life is not a single mountain. It is a vast mountain range. There are countless peaks to explore, each with its own unique challenges, its own breathtaking views. To give up the ascent of one punishing, storm-shrouded peak is not to give up on climbing. It is to make the strategic decision to cross the valley and begin the ascent of another, one that may be more suited to your skills, more aligned with your current values, or simply more beautiful. The person who spends 40 years miserably trying to conquer Mount Everest is not more admirable than the person who spends that time joyfully exploring a dozen other magnificent peaks. The Stoics believed in living in accordance with nature, not just the nature of the cosmos, but our own individual nature. As you grow and change, your nature changes. The mountain that was right for you at 20 may be wrong for you at 40. Giving up a dream, then, can be an act of profound self-awareness. It is recognizing that you are no longer the right climber for this particular mountain. It is an expression of freedom, not failure. It opens up the entire map. You are free to explore the whole range, to find new passions, to pursue new knowledge, to build a life of varied and rich experiences, rather than one of monolithic, joyless obsession. Do not mourn the single summit. Celebrate the freedom of the entire range. So you have decided. The mountain is not yours to climb. The price is too high. The strategy has failed. And yet a final terror remains. It is the fear of the void. For years, your dream was your identity. You were the aspiring novelist, the startup founder, the marathon trainee. It was the answer you gave at parties, the story you told yourself. If you let it go, who are you? This is where the Stoics offer their most profound liberation. They teach us to distinguish between our role and ourself. Epictetus would remind us that we are like actors in a play written by a divine playwright. We are assigned a role, a rich man, a poor man, a leader, a follower. Our job is to play that role with virtue and excellence. But we must never, ever confuse ourselves with the role we are playing. Your dream was a role, a costume you wore. To let it go is like an actor taking off his crown at the end of the play. Does he weep because he is no longer a king? No, that would be madness. He is an actor, and he is now free to play another part. To cling to the identity of a failed dream is to walk around in a tattered costume long after the play has ended. When people ask, "What happened to your business?" you do not need to answer with shame. Your worth was never in the business. It was in the courage, the wisdom, and the temperance you practiced while running it. You can answer, I chose a different path, with the quiet confidence of someone whose identity is not for sale. It is not tied to any external project. Your true self is the rational, virtuous character within, the actor, not the role. Letting go of a dream is not the death of your identity. It is the ultimate reclamation of it. It is the freedom of the blank page. Now, before you go, let me tell you a story about the man who invented the light bulb, Thomas Edison. Long ago, when the world was lit only by fire and gas lamps, a man named Thomas Edison had a dream. He wanted to trap light inside a small glass bulb so that darkness could be defeated with the flip of a switch. People mocked him. Impossible, they said. You cannot make the sun glow in a bottle. But Edison smiled quietly and began his work. He tried one material after another to create a filament that would glow without burning out. First cotton thread. It burned too fast. Then paper soaked in chemicals. It disintegrated. Next, he tried hair, wood, metals, and plants from around the world. One failure after another, for months and years. A reporter once asked him, "Mr. Edison, why do you keep going after 10,000 failures?" Edison replied, "Failures? I have not failed. I have simply found 10,000 ways that don't work. Every mistake brings me closer to the solution." At last, after thousands of experiments, he discovered the secret. A thin bamboo filament, heated just right in a vacuum, could glow softly for hundreds of hours. The electric light was born. This real-life story illustrates the ultimate Stoic art of perseverance. It is not the blind loyalty to a single path. It is the unshakable devotion to a worthy destination, combined with the ruthless courage to abandon any road, any strategy, and any version of the dream that leads you astray. It is the wisdom to know the difference between your mission and your method. This is the final crucial question you must now ask yourself. Are you in love with the idea of lighting your world, or are you just stubbornly attached to the first piece of cotton thread you picked up?